Hey, Jill, come on. We're going to be late for the Crypto Blend live stream. Call Barack and Michelle, see if they're going to tune in and watch. We can see him chart Doggy Moo coin.
This is the best president of the United States, Donald Trump. And when I'm not putting high tariffs into place, I'm watching Crypto Glenn. Only Dicky Duck.
We are late. The Crypto Glenn live stream has started without us. You fail me yet again, Starscream.
Jeez, I'm excited about this.
You're watching the Crypto Glenn nightly stream. Real Alpha, Glenn, can you chart Doggy Moo coin for me?
I'm too old for this shit. You know what time it is when you hear this, right?
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah. Crypto viewers all across the social media world, you would notice that we're broadcasting here a little differently. Tonight we are coming to you live on YouTube. YouTube, we have a little bit more freedom to say what we need to say in order to get the point across. I want to start by saying thank you to each and every one of you who are here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me, and I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I'm your host, Crypto Glenn. In case you have never come across this channel before, on this channel, what I aim to do is provide very objective information about the crypto space, what's happening in the crypto space, and provide you with very clear insight as to what you should be on the lookout for in the very near future for crypto. We open tonight's show with the Crypto Summit that's going to be taking place in Washington this Friday. Now, what's special about what's going on here tonight is I have been looking for information for a list, topic, schedule, timing, things of that nature, to get a decent understanding of what we can be on the lookout for at this summit. And until today, I would say it was finally made clear to say, okay, here is going to be essentially the guest list for this event on Friday. Now, why is this important? This is important because if we know who's coming, we might be able to get an understanding of what they're going to talk about. And so far, I'd say the list, it looks pretty promising. So on the confirmed side, we've got Michael Saylor, David Bailey, CEO of Bitcoin Magazine, Matt Huang, co-founder of Paradigm, JP Richardson, CEO of Exodus. Now, listen, for many of you, if you've been in crypto for as long as I have, maybe even before I have, Exodus is an OG crypto wallet. In my opinion, they've always had some of the cleanest interface, very easy to use, easy to navigate, support for a lot of different cryptos, and they've been doing fairly well since I've been in the crypto space, and I've been here 7-8 years. We've got the managing partner at Multicoin Capital, Kyle Samani. We've got Zach Witkoff, the co-founder of Trump Link World Liberty Financial. Now, Zach, he's actually a serial entrepreneur. This is not his first endeavor. Anyone that's been interested in the world of e-commerce, he and his partner Chase Hero, they have been instrumental, I'd say, in a lot of people's success, or instrumental in helping people navigate their way of trying to find success with e-commerce. We've got Sergey Narov, the co-founder of Chainlink. Chainlink expecting very, very big things out of Chainlink. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. Vlad Teneviv, this is the CEO of Robinhood. Erjan Seith, I hope I pronounced that correctly, the CEO of Kraken. Chris Marzitslitsky, totally just butchered that. Please forgive me. CEO of Crypto.com. and allegedly the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Now, the reason why I say allegedly is because the individual who is responsible for putting out this list, I believe her name is Terry. Sorry, not Terry. Last name is Turret. I was actually doing a little bit of research on her earlier. She does a lot of things for the Republican side of things in Washington. And apparently, this is not her original list. This is obviously a doctorate list. But her original list did not include Brad Garlinghouse, as we can see here on another publication. U.S. President Donald Trump White House Crypto Summit is taking shape, scheduled for this Friday on March 7th. The attendee list, however, remains unexpectedly exclusive and relatively small, with only roughly 20 to 25 invites or invitees. So having that bit of information, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're probably not going to get a chance to live stream this. But who knows? We might have an inside man. I'm serious. We legitimately might have an inside man. So please just stay tuned for that. Here's a here's who of who's attending the Crypto Summit. The list that I just kind of named off for you here. We've got the chair of the CFTC. We've got the SEC chair. We've got the crypto Cesar David Sachs. There's a larger invite and reception being held literally across the street from the White House for those not invited to the roundtable meeting. I believe the roundtable meeting is even going to have Michael Saylor. I need to go back and check that. Tarrant also provided a series of updates confirming multiple attendees. Among them, again, we talked about Michael Saylor, David Bailey, all the people we just noted before. But when you come down here, Tara also noted that a little more detail here, invites are sent to attendees, via email this afternoon. Per the email, the event is scheduled to go from 1:30 to 5:30 p.m., so about 4 hours. No further details were provided beyond the time and location. I was reading this earlier and it went on to note that Garlinghouse was not, I don't want to say not invited, but among the confirmed attendees, I don't think his name was there. There it is. Notably absent from the list of confirmed attendees was CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. Even though he went on Twitter earlier this month in March and had made a post that said, hey, I've said this before, the crypto industry will achieve our goals and beyond if we work together, and stating that in all caps. Appreciate the Crypto Pro President Donald Trump's vision for a government digital asset reserve representative of the industry. I certainly will continue to champion this while in Washington at the end of this week. So if you know anything about Brad Garlinghouse, he just happens to pop up where notable events are taking place. Now, sometimes when he is there, doesn't mean that he actually has direct involvement or engagement with what's going on. He just happens to be in the vicinity. So while Brad Garlinghouse may be in Washington on Friday, we'll have to wait and see if he's actually among the official confirmed of individuals who will be in attendance at the Crypto Summit. Of course, this has folks in the XRP community up in arms. What do you mean our guy wasn't invited? What's going on here? And yeah, so they're not really too happy about it. Okay, at the present time, Bitcoin was listed at around $87,033. Since then, we've actually seen a pretty decent increase in price. We're going to go over those charts as well. So if you are here watching on YouTube, please, if you want to have one of your charts looked at, just go ahead and leave it in the comment section below, and we'll definitely be sure to pull it up and chart it for you. Keep in mind that nothing that we talk about here is financial advice, but it is what I would call a good place to use as a foundation for doing your own research. Okay. As always, please hold me accountable for the things that I say. And if you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm not the kind of content creator where I ignore chat, don't really pay attention to it. Like, you know, you guys are the reason why I do this thing. Been here 7 years. You guys obviously make this whole entire thing worthwhile. So, again, just want to continue to be a breath of fresh air here on YouTube. Anybody that's been here from TikTok, you know, Crypto Glenn, easily one of the most trusted voices in the space. Making sure I get things right is of the highest and most importance to me moving forward. Okay. Real quick, I know it's not easy, but if you or anyone you know, it's important that I make mention of that. If you or anyone that you know, all right, has been feeling sick due to recent market activity, folks, you should be attending the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas, May 27th to 29th. Take the orange pill. It's the medicine you so desperately need. I can tell you from my time at previous Bitcoin conferences, it's been fun. You get a chance to meet a lot of interesting people. You get a chance to have a lot of high-level conversations, which, if I'm being completely honest, I feel that high-level conversations in crypto are just lacking. I think if a lot of us are having more high-level conversations, there's a lot of different nuances that we seem to be able to grasp a better concept on. And when you have access to information, you move differently. And when you have access to the right information, your returns look different. Now, why would that be important? I'm going to tell you why that would be important. Because all across TikTok and all across social media, there have been content creators who have been doing a fine job of promoting these absolute shit coins, these rugs, these things that are created and designed to take away the money that you work hard for. One of the newest of the bunch was a project called White Rock. Now, when I took a look around the crypto space on TikTok, the amount of people that I already have disdain for, and I've said this on lives before, the amount of people I trust in crypto, take your right hand, put it out in front of your face. I want you to take your index finger, point it out, take your thumb, stick it out, and I want you to slowly bring them together. And as you're looking through that gap with your right eye, as it's closing just before your two fingers touch, that's about as long of a list as people that I trust in the crypto space. I don't trust many people, man, and for good reason. And I don't really trust a ton of content creators, and for a good reason. The content creators, they're responsible for promoting these rug pulls. This was White Rock. People who were promoting this were saying that they're akin to BlackRock. They're a subsidiary of BlackRock. They're tokenizing stocks, they're tokenizing assets, and they're putting them on their blockchain. But when you actually went through and did the research and due diligence, if you guys want to, I'd be more than happy to show you. Things just didn't line up. Their main office was in the British Virgin Islands, FTX. At the bottom of their website, it said, hey, the products and services offered by this essentially company, which the parent company was Whitestone Ltd, I believe. Said, hey, these products and services are not for people, citizens in the United States. Now, wait a minute. You're supposed to be a subsidiary of BlackRock. BlackRock is a publicly traded company whose offerings and services are available to American retail investors as well as institutions. Why would BlackRock need to spin up a subsidiary that's not available to U.S. citizens? More notably, BlackRock already has a fund, BUIDL, that they're building out through Ethereum. They're partnered with Ondo. Why would they need to partner up, or why would they need to create a new product or a new service to try to gain more investment? So across the board, there were a ton of things that were not lining up. And no matter how hard I've tried to stand at the top of this mountain and say, hey, you need to be mindful of the people who you're getting your information from. And also, by the way, it's super important who you follow on social media. Because this kind of thing right here, this is not acceptable. I have been approached more times than I can count by projects wanting me to promote their shitty rug pulls, their shitty projects, and I will not do it. What are you going to pay me, like $300, $50, whatever the case is? Like, what are we talking about? $1,300, $1,000. What are we talking about? It's not worth it to me. There's no amount of money that's going to be worth me damaging the reputation that I've worked very hard to establish over, the last 7-8 years. Okay? It's not worth it. Because when you know how to trade, you can go into the market and pull out returns like that. There's no check. There's no amount of money that these people are going to cut me where I'm going to say, oh, that's totally worth me selling out my community. I know how to trade. I know how to chart. We're going to go over some of the charts here. I've been taking the lives that I've been running on YouTube and uploading them here to YouTube so that people can go back for historical context and see what I've told people is going to happen in the market and see if it's happened or not. Okay. So we're going to go over the charts. We're going to look at some stuff. And it's very clear and apparent. Like, I don't have to take their money. And they want to pay you out in the token that they're creating. No. No. Absolutely not. So please, if you're listening to anybody and they're promoting meme coins, especially like highly, highly speculative meme coins, like, I don't know, maybe just think twice. Just think twice. And it pains me because there's people that, I like that under, normal circumstances I don't really have an issue with that promote these things. There's other people who I absolutely do not like who promote these things, and I have a ton of disdain for them. Like, it's one thing if it's like you legitimately thought, hey, this is going to be a good project, but when you have a history of promoting rug pulls, like, nah, man, you're part of the problem. You are part of the problem. So, again, if that's something that's troubling you, right, you need to get your bank right. You need to get your mind reset. You need to figure out how to get back on the proper side of things when it comes to this cryptocurrency space and investing. The Bitcoin conference is where you need to be. May 27th, 29th, 2025 in Las Vegas. It's going to be a good time. The conference already is just going to be extremely exciting. A lot of thought-provoking conversations, a lot of entertainment, and it's in Vegas. We're talking about Vegas. If you know, you know. Right? If you know, you know. Let's go and take a look at the news. Solana DeFi tokens undervalued compared to Ethereum, says Franklin Templeton and Investments. This is super exciting because we've been having the conversation of, what does Solana actually have to make available to the marketplace? And I get a lot of people like Solana. I hold a little bit of Solana. Was buying it on the retrace after the bear market in 2020. What was that? 2022, 2023. It was like $8 or $13. I spent a lot of time buying Solana at that price. It just seemed to make sense. Very popular L1. Didn't seem like it was going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, it had its outages, but I think a lot of new blockchains are going to have those problems. And when we take a look at Solana's performance, it seems like they're following the same trajectory that Ethereum did. It seems like they're following the same trajectory as Binance Smart Chain. And if there's one thing I could tell you about each one of these blockchains is they all seem to follow the same path. When Ethereum first came out, obviously a lot of projects were being developed on Ethereum. Then all these projects start to have their own mainnet. They start doing their own thing, getting off of Ethereum, running their own blockchains. Okay. Well, then Ethereum had to come out with something else. And so Ethereum figured out, hey, we can do DeFi. We can do like staking. We can even do NFTs. Oh, we'll do these super low market cap coins or meme coins. Highly speculative. People can put in a little bit of money, make a lot of money. At least that was a principle, right? And then the thing about Ethereum was the fees were too high. So people are like, I'm paying all these fees. I'm trying to get my NFTs going. I'm paying all these fees. I'm trying to, catch a bit on meme coins. But all my profits, if I have any profits, are getting ate up by fees. I want to go to a different blockchain. Enter Binance Smart Chain. Now, I remember when the time Binance Smart Chain was coming up and running, you could do meme coin swaps for fractions of a penny, in and out all day long. It was very, very attractive to the end user. Same difference with NFT projects. In order to launch a coin on Ethereum, it may cost you $15,000, maybe $2,000. Launch that same contract on BNB, a few bucks, if that. So now I got meme coins going on Binance Smart Chain. I've got NFTs going on Binance Smart Chain. Even though the NFTs on Binance were never as prestigious as they were on Ethereum, it still followed the same trajectory. I got borrowing, I got staking protocols, I got DEXs, right? Ethereum has Uniswap. Binance had PancakeSwap. Ethereum had NFTs. Binance Smart Chain had NFTs. Meme coins on Ethereum, meme coins on Binance Smart Chain. The meme coins started running a little bit too rampant on Ethereum. People went to other blockchains to try to be the first Indian over the hill, to try to seek more opportunity, to seek better opportunity. The same thing happened with Solana. Binance Smart Chain starts to become known as a blockchain that just promotes rugs. New meme coins are coming off at a high clip. You can barely keep track of them. People want to go over to Solana, something new. It's more cost attractive to use. It's fast. They start doing NFTs on Solana. And the NFTs, let's be honest, they were shitty. Soul punks, right? They were shitty. Very cheap derivative projects of existing projects from other blockchains, just trying to catch a name for themselves. And then what happens? They start doing meme coins. The DEXs come, the borrowing and lending, the staking protocols, they come, the DeFi aspects, they start to come. And now it's the same situation. The amount of meme coins that are being launched on Solana at the rate that they are, that are essentially tanking, right? That are essentially tanking, is following the same trajectory. Solana's bolstering decentralized finance scene is growing faster than Ethereum's, making them more money too. And yet Franklin Templeton Investments pointed out on Tuesday a report that its tokens are worthless. I mean, yeah, they kind of are. Solana's DeFi valuation multiple trades on average lower than Ethereum's counterparts, despite significantly higher growth profiles, highlighting an apparent valuation conundrum, rather. This is what the report said. Franklin Templeton Investments compared tokens of 5 leading Ethereum projects, Lido, Aave, Athena, and Maker, and Uni, to those of Solana's 5 strongest protocols, Jito, Jupe, Kumo, I'm not familiar with this one, and Radium. Solana's project saw a 24% median growth in fees over the last year, which is really good for the project coordinators and creators and developers, and a median multiple of 9x, whereas Ethereum's projects were up 150%. And a multiple of 18x. That's saying a lot because a lot of people really haven't been moving or doing a lot on Ethereum just because the fees, there's just, hasn't really been a lot going on Ethereum. I know they've got the Petra update that's getting ready to come out here pretty soon. Haynes, yeah, TikTok, yeah, they got me, man. They got me till about March 8th, I want to say. But got to keep getting the information out. Got to keep doing a live stream, so we're here on YouTube. So Ethereum projects were up 150 and a multiplier of 18x. These trends come after a year of torrid growth for Solana. Meme coin traders in particular powered the network's decentralized exchange to new heights in 2024. In January of 25, Solana's DEX had more volume than those of the entire ecosystems combined. Again, because a lot of people weren't even on Ethereum. There was just nothing really there, nothing really going on. DeFi may be entering an era of Solana virtual machine dominance, shifting away from the historical array of EVM-based DeFi. This is important because a lot of people are placing a lot of focus on the Solana virtual machine. We should be looking at other blockchains that are allowing Solana virtual machines to plug into their blockchain. Supra, I'm looking at you. Right, we spin at dawn. We spin at dawn. Let's go, Haynes. Let's go. Drop a bomb in the chat for Haynes. I love that. He said we spin at dawn. Hell yeah, brother. And it's hard because a lot of people are on, say, TikTok. They may not be on Twitter, so they may not see the publication information going out to Twitter, but we do what we can. That is to say that Ethereum's mainnet is finished. To the contrary, Franklin Templeton said the shift activity to layer 2 blockchains is proof that Ethereum's scaling approaches is hitting its stride. L2s did actually a lot of good for my portfolio during the last run. This one has been a little cyclical because, again, there's a lot of meme coins taking liquidity from traditionary plays in the crypto space, and we've got way more projects fighting for the same amount of liquidity. But asymmetry between Ethereum's highly valued assets and Solana comparatively undervalued tokens may not last. As Solana continues to demonstrate resilience as a centralized computing platform, the market soon priced blue chip cornerstone Solana DeFi protocols in line with comparable Ethereum protocols. So if you're taking a look at Jito, if you're taking a look at Drift, if you're taking a look at Radium, Matora, right? These are ones that you should definitely be putting on your watch list. So Solana keeps growing the rate that it's growing. These protocols listed here, see if I can go back right here, Jito, Jupiter, Radium. Not familiar with these two. All right, they could stand to see substantial gains. If we take a look at how their growth is, we'll just kind of move down the list. Just take a look at Jupe. How's BTC doing real fast? 91.5, okay. Jupe at 63 cents. If we go macro, big picture, let's zoom out here. Looking a lot like session lows. Might not be a bad place, right? If you're a believer if you think the market is getting ready to turn the corner, it might not be a bad place to start to stock up. And I think, relatively speaking, you may be onto something there, because if this were a zone that you wanted to buy, historically this has acted as resistance going all the way back to March of 2024. So effectively a year ago. In Q2, Q3 of 24, this acted as a bit of support for us for a long time. So assuming that Jupiter is able to get over this little humpity hump right here, if you can get over this hurdle, things may start to look very, very favorable for this Solana DEX. Now, in order to mark that happen, obviously you literally have to get a strong daily close above 63 cents. Ideally, you want to be, above 83 cents. But say this is the bottom, right? The first key level you've got to try to conquer is going to be that 236, that 66 cent range. We take a look and just see firsthand where or how far down Jupiter is from, I'd say, like, what is this, November, the December highs of last year? It's down 55%. Obviously, you want to go from the all-time high of April of 24. It's down 65%. Right? So now the question we have to ask ourselves is, A, is this the bottom for altcoins? Do we think that the traditional market is getting ready to turn around? And could this be a good place to possibly buy some of these alts? Now, if you're of the mindset that the market is probably getting ready to turn around, I think the answer is probably going to be a little bit clear to you. If we take a look here at, let's take a look at Total 3. This is going to give us the market picture excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're in a range right here where historically this has acted as support, and we're currently trying to get above that. Right, we did some TA here last week saying that, hey, in the interim, the Total 3 was acting in a bit of a symmetrical triangle. It followed the downtrend. We had price breakdown to, 77.6 or 776 billion, while altcoins, just saw a tremendous amount of gains erased. They slid very, very bad. What I do think is beneficial to the altcoin market is the fact that when you fell out of this channel, one, there was no close, right? There was no daily close beneath it. I mean, we had one, but then we started to build ourselves back up. We didn't necessarily hit this line of resistance and struggle to get back above it. It's like we came down, we dipped out of it, and we now find ourselves trying to make room to go back here to the upside. So if it were just that, I'd be like, hey, altcoins, perceivably, they look like they're going to be in good shape. But in order for alts to really look like they're in good shape, I'm going to be honest with you, right? You really got to get above 923 billion in market valuation. Like, that's just kind of where you have to be. All right? Just barely got above the 236. Your work, you need to get a daily close in this range and really start to build yourself back up. If you can't get that, any kind of reversal, you don't get a daily close, you start to move to the downside, we're just going to play the whole entire ranging game all over again. In a minute here, we're going to go over some variables that could affect this. All this stuff is just kind of lined up. All this is essentially just lined up. We take a look here at Bitcoin. Take a look here at Bitcoin. What do we see? Bitcoin doing the same thing. Doing the same thing. We got key levels that we're trying to get above, zones that we haven't captured yet. So from the last time we went live, especially on TikTok, nothing has really changed. The thing that Bitcoin has going for it is obviously you're putting in a bit of a rally here, but we've seen rallies before. We've seen rally reversals. We've got this rally here that's going on in Bitcoin. This is good, but the key level that Bitcoin has got to try to recapture is going to be this 94.3 all the way to 94.9. So call it 90, mid 94, high 90, or mid 94, $95,000. And we're not talking about just peaking above there. You actually need to get to a point where you've got strong market structure going above these zones. I want to say right now this is Mount Everest, but it's kind of looking more like Mount Vesuvius, right? What's the percentage difference? A 3% move. 3.5%, 4% move in order to get you there. If you can flip this area for Bitcoin, things will start to look positive. Bitcoin might start to run. You might see a bump in the Bitcoin dominance, right? As it starts to overtake certain key areas, which could be very, very extremely beneficial for Bitcoin's price action. Now, does that mean altcoins by and large are going to pump? Maybe not. We haven't seen a cycle this go around where altcoins are having a traditional altcoin season, which is what I've been saying for months. Maybe we have to get used to the idea that, Bitcoin might just pump and just run away from the rest of the market. Maybe we don't necessarily have a traditional altcoin season because retail has no money. Retail is broke. When we take a look at the personal savings rates from the St. Louis Fed, see if I can find it. Personal savings rates at the Fed, the last time we looked at this, it was just kind of down to some of the lowest levels we had seen in a while, and it's still there. It's still there. Now, something that I will show you, and I want you to pay attention to this, right? Let's go back to, where's my chart? Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. That's perps. Give me the actual Bitcoin chart. This is Binance. I think I need Bitstamp. I think I need Tether. So I'll view, what is it? Oh, that's not it. I had this already marked out. What was our last bull cycle? 21. Here we go. Take a look at that chart. And take a look at this chart. Kind of look very indicative of one another, don't they? You think it's a coincidence that the last time we saw a pump in the market was the last time retail had some of the highest levels of liquidity and access to funding? That kind of thing just doesn't happen on accident. Right? Doesn't happen on accident. So when you place that against the backdrop of, well, what's going on now? What's driving this kind of price action? Ooh, that would be nasty if that turned out to be like some Head and Shoulders. Ooh, we would die. I want to call that early. I'm just looking at it. It looks like it could be a left shoulder, head. You'd have to come down here. Oh, my God. That would be so bad. Y'all better hope that Elliott Wave, fifth leg, does not come down here and bring us down to this region over here. We would totally collapse. When we take a look at what's been playing into this price action here, Bitcoin getting to $109,000, so on and so forth. Well, you got to take a look at Bitcoin ETF most successful. Record-breaking winner. The Fidelity-wise Origin Bitcoin Fund was the only other spot Bitcoin ETF with more than 10 billions in inflows, and I think they hit that number in a record set of time. Same thing for the BlackRock ETF. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? It means that Wall Street is showing that they only have an appetite for Bitcoin right now. And so with no real major pathway for Wall Street to buy alts, Bitcoin emerges as a clear dominant winner. And if money continuously flows into Bitcoin, which it's likely going to, it's going to leave the rest of the altcoins in the dust. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing now with a rotational alt season versus alt season across the board and going up across the board. And we're not seeing that because, again, retail has no money. Wall Street doesn't have a pathway to turn around and buy these altcoins. With the advent of meme coins showing up the way that they have, they're taking liquidity from traditional altcoins, and it's leaving the market to fight for the same amount of liquidity over millions of coins versus rather, thousands, tens of thousands of projects. But why is this problematic? It's problematic because there's this thought process that if cryptos get an ETF, it automatically means wild price appreciation. We saw with Ethereum, that's not the case. With Ethereum, we learned that even though a project has an ETF, the only thing that matters is the market displaying a healthy appetite for that cryptocurrency prior to an ETF being launched? The cryptocurrency, the crypto that checks that box would be Bitcoin. Wall Street isn't going to go through the headache that Michael Saylor had to go through to buy some of these altcoins just for them. They're not going to go through the headache that Saylor had to go through to buy Bitcoin just for them to be able to buy altcoins. So without retail getting some kind of bereavement, retail getting some kind of break, we may not see alt season, or at least the same kind of alt season that we're accustomed to seeing. And that's going to be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, which is why when you take a look at how much Bitcoin is down in relation to how much some of these other altcoins are down, it's night and day. Bitcoin down 17%, right? The marker for being in a bear market is 20% or greater, and being at those levels for an extended period of time. We can go through the altcoins and show how those altcoins are down. And they have been sliding for the last 2 months, and they're down 20+%. Some are down 20, 30, 40, 50%, 60%, while Bitcoin is only down 17%. So if we want to try to get an idea of what could potentially either feed into Bitcoin continuously running away from the rest of the market, or what could feed into alts possibly turning this thing around, we can talk about that. The thing that could potentially turn altcoins around is if the government comes in and say, yes, we're going to do the crypto reserve, and it's going to be made up of a certain amount of cryptos. And we just had the announcement for that. Audio was low. We just had the announcement for, let's see if that's better, for the crypto reserve. And a lot of people are in favor of that. But now we've got to wait and see how they get it done. Are they going to do it? Which is why a lot of us, myself included, are going to be paying attention to Friday. I'm of the mindset that maybe this information comes out after they get the stablecoin bill finished, which is going to be next week, March 10th through the 14th, I think is when they're going to be voting on it. Okay. So that could be a strong catalyst for altcoins, or selective altcoins, returning to their former level of prominence. Much better? Cool. Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. Appreciate you. Well, we take a look at what would be a catalyst for Bitcoin to just continuously run away from the market like it has been doing. We've had this conversation before on TikTok, but we're going to have it now on YouTube, right? Because I need this to be on record here. There was a meeting that took place in late 1974. It was Harry Kissinger was there. The Bilderberg Group, they were there, or members of the Bilderberg Group. The Sheikh Amani of the Minister of Oil from Saudi Arabia, he was there. And it's told that Harry Kissinger walked into a room, he looked these people dead in the face, he said, oil's going up by 400%, get behind it. Took a lot of people off guard. But if you pay attention to what the United States was going through at that time, we were leaving Vietnam, we were off the gold standard, we needed to create this new thing that was going to usher us into the next age, the next era. And so some of the world's largest players got together. Harry Kissinger said, it's going up by 400%, there's nothing you can do about it, get behind it. And thus, this is the world that we live in today. The petrodollar was born. And it was one of the things that allowed the United States to see the kind of economic boom that hard money does not allow us to have. So when you hear people say things like oil, the oil standard, or Standard Oil, you've got to unpack that. When you take a look at all these energy companies, the Marathons, the Shells, the BPs, the Mobiles, all of these companies, all of these energy companies are by and large spinoffs of J.D. Rockefeller's oil company that he created. Because prior to J.D. Rockefeller becoming the oil tycoon that he was, people would light their homes, they would heat their homes off of like well blubber. And the thing about well blubber is it's very volatile. It's dangerous. You'll go to turn on your lantern, you'll turn up the flame, and it'll blow your face off. I can say that on here. I can't really say that on TikTok. All right, so I can be a bit more direct. You strike a match, put it in a lantern to try to heat your home, right? You got the lantern, you got it lit. Maybe you set it down because you got to put your boots on because you got to go out to the woodshed to go get some wood to heat your wood burning stove so you can heat your home up. You'd set the lamp down. The lamp would blow up and it would just burn half your house down. J.D. Rockefeller, Standard Oil, when he created Standard Oil, it was the first company that actually used clean burning properties in their oil. And once word got out about, hey, I can use this to heat my lamps. I don't have to worry about it burning my face off as soon as I go to light it. I don't have to worry about it blowing my house up because it had clean burning properties in it. More people got comfortable with it. It was safer. It became the standard. Oh, you want to use oil to burn your lanterns? You got to use Standard Oil. You want to heat your home? You want to make sure it's there when you get back? You got to use Standard Oil. And it created this boom for the Rockefellers. Standard Oil, J.D. Rockefeller. Well, fast forward till today, what do you hear people saying? Bitcoin is the new oil, the Bitcoin standard. It's an ecosystem that bars no man, no woman, no child from taking place in its offerings. All you need is education, the desire, will, a mobile wallet, and a little bit of money. You can get started with it. If I want to be able to take part in real estate, I got to have money. Commercial real estate, especially commercial real estate in New York City, I have to be of money. If I want to get involved with art, high-end art, I got to have money. If I want to get involved with precious metals and really make it worth my while, I got to have money. But for a lot of people getting involved with Bitcoin early on, and still to this day, they themselves and their families will be able to reap the benefits of this monetary asset that completely levels the playing field, brings to the forefront transparency and economic inclusion. It's simply put a new way forward. It's a better way forward. And so when you hear people say things like the Bitcoin standard, they are telling you, Bitcoin is the way that we're going to move this thing forward. Why is that important? Things shaping up with BRICS the way that they are. The United States may not control the petrodollar in 10, 20 years the same way that they do now. We got to start looking at other avenues right now. Okay, what's the best way for us to do that? To control the economic resource that is going to be what it's going to be for the next 50 to 100 years. What makes this thing gel? What makes this thing really work the way that it works? Paul Ryan puts out an app head, I believe, in the Wall Street Journal. He says the problem with the United States stable coins could be the thing that takes care of that. When the Treasury Borrowing Asset Backed Committee, they get together, and it's a committee that's responsible for reporting directly to the Treasury. Borrowing Advisory Committee, excuse me. This committee is made up of all of the senior people at firms on Wall Street. It's made up of all the upper level management people at the big banks. They get together, I believe it's every quarter, and they put out their findings. Well, one of the findings they put out at the end of October is the fiscal situation that's going on in the United States, the debt, it's out of control. Well, everyone that's already been paying attention, folks already knew this. And so they published another finding. They normally only do one per report, but this time they did two. And one of the things they said is, hey, these stable coins, this thing could possibly be the way that we use to get ourselves out of this mess. I'll tell you why that's important here in a second. Donald Trump comes to the forefront. He's running for office. He says, well, maybe we'll take care of our debt and we'll use a little Bitcoin to pay our debts off. And people started laughing at him.
That's a nasty one. That's nasty.
That's nasty. I'm just trying to tell people what the situation is and they want to laugh at me. That's nasty. When everybody is paying attention to this, they're paying attention to what a lot of these high up individuals are saying. They're paying attention to what these financial analysts are saying. They're paying attention to these people who are really looking at the math. And here's what they're saying. The bigger Bitcoin gets, the more demand for stable coins there becomes. And the thing about stable coins is you have to have certain assets backing them. That's what gives them value. For most stable coins, if not all stable coins, it is Treasury Reserve bills, T-bills. The debt of the country, right? You buy a country's debt, they give you a Treasury note. Why is that important? It's important because China's not buying Treasury notes the way that they used to. Japan's not buying Treasury notes the way that they used to because everyone is paying attention to the fiscal situation and no one wants to be left holding a bad note if this thing goes kablooey. Tether steps in and they say, we'll gladly buy the Treasury notes because this is what we use to back our stable coins that allows us to turn around and buy more Bitcoin. Extrapolate that information and place it against the backdrop that they are going to use Bitcoin to blow up the stablecoin market to make it bigger, which is going to cause an increased demand for Treasury notes. That is so super important because when you pay attention to how Tether is being treated in the EU, and a lot of people who aren't as educated believe that because Tether is being kicked out of the EU, it's got to be something to do with, they've got to be on, something's got to be wrong. They've got to be up to no good. When Tether puts out their postings, they put out their reserves, they put out their audits. The reason why they're being kicked out, the reason why they don't necessarily aren't in compliance with the MiCA is because Tether said, we don't want to put our money in your guys' banks. Every so often, you guys have issues with your banks. We don't want to have our money tied up in that. The MiCA regulation requires that in order for an asset to be MiCA compliant, it has got to be invested in a few different things. T-bills, precious metals, commercial paper, all of which Tether has. But Tether is also backed up by cryptocurrency. When you take a look at how fast, now keep in mind, we just got the information that the Strategic Reserve Committee has been created. The crypto task force has been created for the United States during Trump's first week. It's been about a month and a half. And next week, they are going to be voting on the stablecoin bill. What do you think is going to be in that bill? If you want to be in a stablecoin, or if you want to be a stablecoin, you want to have access to the U.S. markets, X amount of your reserves have got to be made up of our Treasury notes. That's the best way for the United States to safeguard that they will always have a buyer for their Treasury notes. Now comes the information that there's going to be a strategic crypto reserve that's going to be built. So we've got the piece already out the way, allegedly. That's going to allow us to make sure we always have a customer buying our Treasury notes. We can use that as a basis to say, well, as Bitcoin grows, they have got to put in a request for more treasury notes so that they can back that with their stablecoins. Stablecoins become larger. The demand for treasury notes keeps going bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. What does all of that mean? All of that means that that's the prime catalyst for Bitcoin continuously growing and possibly running away further from the rest of the market. This cycle has been very indicative of us not being able to rely heavily on the way that markets have gone before in the past, because now we've got new variables. We've got Wall Street. We've got just new mathematical equations, new variables at play. It's no longer a hobbyist market. We've had 6 or 7 new all-time highs prior to the actual halving for Bitcoin. That's never happened before. Bitcoin has never really had a new all-time high before getting to a halving. That's normally happened after the halving. And for the first time ever, we have it happening on before the halving and again on the other side after the halving. So this week's going to be very, very interesting. So we've got the catalyst of what could possibly push the price up, right? For Bitcoin and maybe even some of the alts. Now we've got to go over what could actually cause that price to go down. If they do not give us anything concrete, anything that's going to be earth moving, anything that's going to be really substantial as to how the next foreseeable future for crypto is going to go in the United States. If they don't give us anything, people are going to look at this as a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. We've got the CPI print that's coming out next week, Wednesday. If that is less than favorable, the markets are not going to like it, and we will see the same thing that always happens when we get a CPI print that's not favorable. The market's probably going to roll over a little bit on itself. So that's why you're seeing a lot of this back and forth motion that's going on in the market. You've got bulls and bears. They're all fighting, jockeying for position. And the number one thing that we've got to pay attention to is, one, how does that CPI number look? And two, well, Friday, one, how does Friday look? What kind of information are we going to get? And two, how does that CPI print look? If both of those things line up, the upside on this could be tremendous. But if both of them line up and it looks like it's going to be a little bit less than favorable, we could possibly revisit some of these areas, right? Down here at 78, maybe even lower. So this upcoming week for crypto is going to be very, 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 very important. Very important. And I think if nothing else, people obviously need to be having, their watch list set. Personally, I'm going to have some money into the markets on Thursday night, ready to go on Friday. And, I'm going to take positions one way or the other. I'll be updating people on Twitter as to, what is it? Some of the things that I think I'm seeing. You guys can follow me on Twitter if you're not already, at CryptoGlenn. It's going to be a good place to keep up with me, obviously, on TikTok. That sucks we won't be able to go live Friday because I'm not going to be able to get the live access back until Saturday, the 8th. But we'll always have YouTube, right? So that's going to be super important. Friday, key timeline to be paying attention to. Wednesday of next week, CPI print. Monday, Tuesday, they're going to be discussing the stablecoin bill. They'll have it done on Friday. Yeah, so Monday and Tuesday, we got the stablecoin bill. Wednesday, we got CPI print. Friday, we've got the finalization of the stablecoin bill if they decide to elect to roll with it or not. Anything else here? A little bit of news in the world of decentralized AI modeling. AI, it's gone hot. It's been cold. It's gone hot again. Now it's kind of lukewarm. Kava is a project that came out in 2018 during the last bear market. I'm sorry, not the last bear market, the bear market before last. They've actually unveiled a new decentralized AI model. So if AI is something that you're interested in, I would probably run a quick Google search for Kava decentralized AI model. Article says it's poised to be AI. It's poised to be the defining technology of the decade, yet its development is largely controlled by a few corporate grants who dominate the hardware model's funding. The centralization limits access to AI and keeps decisions about its evolution behind closed doors. Kava sees a different future, one where AI decentralized communities driven and designed to serve users rather than corporate users. If you've been interested in Kava, I would probably use the Wayback Machine. right? Find out what Kava's website is. Come over here. Way back machine. Go to that website there. Matter of fact, why don't we just do it here? Because I've got, I get it. Cryptos, they need to evolve. They need to change. I understand that. But the thing that I do not like to see, Kava.io, is projects that don't get any traction when they first launch and then they try to rebrand into something else the second a narrative gets hot. What that tells me as an investor is they don't necessarily have what it takes in order to be successful. They're just trying to play double dutch and catch a bid because they essentially want you to put your money into the project. So what I do here is I'd come over here to the Wayback Machine. I'd put in Kava's website address. I'd come over here. I'd say, let's go to 2018. All right. They're probably around here. This is key date here, August 5th. Let's take a look here. I want to see how this lines up. Leading the world of Web3. Kava decentralized blockchain that combines the speed and interoperability of Cosmos with development power of Ethereum. Protocols are the most important value driver of Web3. That's why Kava developed Kava Rise, an easy 3-step program to get developers to launch on Kava. So this really comes across as like it's a L1. For settling the world's payments. Okay, so it looks like they were trying to do payments back in 2018. And now they're just like, hey, actually, we want to be an all-encompassing L1. And now the latest bit, we want to try to tackle the AI situation. What is Kava at now? $0.45. What is the ticker? KAVA. Let me pull this up on the chart, see what they look like. Let me zoom out. Man. It's been a wild ride for Kava. A wild ride for Kava. What happened here from October 2024? Oh, actually, yeah, this is when a lot of altcoins started to run. It's not looking great. It's not looking great. I think you need to get above 51 here if you're holding Kava and you have any interest in it. I just think with the amount of L1s that are out now, this market is going to force you to choose. I don't know if market participants have the bandwidth to be stretched out over, 12, 15, 20 different L1s. Market is definitely going to force people to choose here. Yeah, it's gonna be a chasm to cross, man. 45 cents to $1. About 90 cents. It would have to double itself in price. It's not impossible, but you got to ask yourself in these kind of climates, what's the probability to actually get that done? Right? What's the probability? Short term, I probably wouldn't be holding Kava. It's just showing a tremendous amount of bearish divergence. Y'all know me, I don't like prices going up where volume doesn't follow behind it. I don't like it. See here, prices going up. Volume is consolidating or going down. What happens to price? Comes back down. Same thing's going on here. Price is going up. Volume is not persistent with it. Price is likely going to go back down. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a L1 that's maybe undervalued, new kid on the block tackling the AI space, you might want to give Kava a look. How are we doing on XRP? XRP kind of running into some headspace here, right? It's kind of hitting its head a little bit. Got this zone all the way back here from mid-February last month, just providing a little bit of turbulence for XRP. I think the vast majority of charts that we look at are just going to be posturing for what happens on Friday and next week. Big move potentially Friday, even bigger moves potentially next week. Let's jump down here to the 4 hour. Yeah, big rejection zone. I think if Bitcoin cap or takes over the 90, what did I say, 94, 96,000. Let's go back to Bitcoin for a second. You like that 94, high 94, $95,000 zone. Bitcoin overtakes that. XRP could be well on its way. Choose my words carefully here. Glenn said XRP was going to go to $40. No, I didn't say that. Relax. Relax. Yeah, definitely $3, right? Definitely $3. So manage the longs, mind the longs. Let's have a look here at Solana. If we don't, to the downside, definitely going to be taking out that $2.28 mark. Where's Solana at? I feel like I put these in alphabetical order, and then sometimes they get moved around. 148, yeah, still hanging out in that zone, baby. They just keep doing it with Solana. Just keep doing it. Here's what I mean. Excuse a lot of my doodling, right? So I'm willing to bet if I take this zone here and I go to the left, it's going to run a few different points. Look at that. Why am I not surprised? Look at that. Look at that. Where we at? July 24th, 24. Keep this zone in mind. If anything bearish comes out that Solana does not like, price is definitely going to come back here to this zone. It always does that. It taps this zone and makes people think like, oh, right, it's going to be over. And then it normally leads to these decent, these wild run-ups. So on Solana, if anything bearish happens, you got to think like you can't keep tapping these zones without breaking through it. You're going all the way back to October of 24 here. Tap, 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 tap. Broke through, came back, tap. As sooner or later, it's like that game Don't Break the Ice that you played when you were a kid. Price comes back down. Could it be this time? Maybe. Price comes back down. You touch 109. In a very, very bearish kind of situation, listen, I could see Sol going back to 75, maybe even $50. Right? So you better hope if this is the leg up, like it's up from here. You stand right now, I think you probably need to get a close above 150, right? Give me a strong daily close above 150, and things will probably look pretty good for Solana. But again, I think that's probably going to be dependent upon what gets reported on Friday, and then how does next week look for the stablecoin bill, for the CPI print. If CPI print comes out and it's not favorable, it's going to fuck us all, and like we're going to go back to the downside. It's not going to be very fun at all. It's not going to be very fun at all. How does that daily look? All right, Solana's got something going on in its favor here. We got a daily candle that's going to close in about 19, 20 hours. Shit. Again, higher time frames, they lead prices going up, but the volume in itself is not persistent. You really need this daily candle to kick in and get some bids, right? You need some people to get excited about the possibility of what's going to go on Friday and try to be a little daring and front run what possible information you could get on Friday and try to push this thing on up. Because without it, you don't want, price going up without having volume behind it is like building your house on sand. It's no foundation. And it will come back down at some point or another. It's like a giant stone wall you got to get over right here. So we'll have to wait and see. Do we have any immediate zones that we might want to target? Actually, yes, right? For my traders. Go there. I don't think this is going to qualify. What would just happen? It's going to qualify. Oh. Ideally, you want this FEG to be above the 50% fib retracement. It's because it's not. I might hold off on trading that one. Other popular cryptos here, Render. Render is a fan favorite to a lot of people. I'm not the biggest fan of Render. I just, think it's a little gimmicky. And it's on a slide, baby. It's on a slide. All of these alts just look terrible, man. Got to get above 450. Charted that one beautifully. Ascending channel. Boom. Price is going to break out to the downside and did it. That. Boy, that's a descending wedge if I've ever seen one. That is a descending wedge if I've ever seen one. Some might even call that a descending triangle. Not really sure how I feel about that one. There you go. That's more of a wedge right there. Here we go. Typically speaking, these do normally start to break to the upside. If you want to try to chart the possibility of where they're going, do one of those numbers where price first comes into the zone. Breaks to the upside, you could be looking at 459. Oh, look, we got a little bit of confluence. We said, hey, this is the zone. Render's got to get over in order for it to actually flip sentiment and become bullish, at least in a short while. And if this respects the trend line, essentially that's where you'll end up. Right. Can I put where I charted this just to come back to it at a later date? We'll just let that be there. How's Quant look? Quant's still back in the 80s, struggling. Oh, we dipped below our dotted line here. This is a trend line from like way back when. Obviously, point of contention for Quant has been for a little while. If you're a fan of Quant, you want this thing to push up here and try to get above the immediate lower high. That's what, 90? 90 and change? That's what's really going to be the difference maker for Quant. Outside of that, I think Quant's got a pretty decent use case. Like I said, last time I read up on them, they were doing blockchain services for companies that are not native to the blockchain, which I think in the future, if this crypto thing really is going to where most people think it's going to be, this could be a very, very good revenue model for Quant. You got a need for blockchain. You don't necessarily have a developer. You don't know a whole lot about building out blockchains. Come to us. We'll go ahead and do it for you. Super beneficial. But outside of that, I mean, right? A lot of these charts are just kind of going to look the same. Everybody's just waiting for Friday, waiting for next week. Nate, what's up, player? Good to see you here, man. Drop a bomb in the chat for Nate. Happy you found we were hanging out. So the rest of the chat, we're going to be here for the duration. TikTok is like, hey, Glenn, you were divulging a little bit too much info. We're gonna have to sideline you. We got some haters calling about you. So I'm like, whatever. So we're gonna be here until about the 8th, which is cool because it's probably about time I start trying to build up the YouTube channel back again anyway. So I hope that's helpful. Many other cryptocurrencies that I see. Let's go ahead and chart this total 3 here again, right? Just look at this chasm, boy. Look at that. This might as well be no man's land. Look at this space. This might as well be no man's land. Bad, y'all. Sorry, I got a phone call. I had to take that. So it's really just kind of hanging out in the middle. In the middle. Just neutral. Just not doing nothing. Right? Even on the traditional RSI, still hanging out in very neutral territory. Stochastic RSI is coming in a bit overbought. I see it. I recognize it. Traditionally speaking, for the 4 hour, I'd like to lean more so on the traditional RSI. Just seems to be a little bit less sensitive. I'm just seeing holding patterns. Just not really a whole lot going on. Holding. Market's going through a small bounce right now. Some cryptos are up 1%. I don't think anything's really up outside of that. Link is up 4%. Let's take a look at Link. Link trying to get back bullish. Link is like, man, I hear what y'all talking about. I'm not trying to be down here with the rest of these losers. I'm trying to build myself back up. I'm trying to look appetizing in the eyes of investors. How do I need to do it? Cool, Link, here's what you got to do. You got to get above this little zone right here. 17.3, that's the number. Even on the daily, Link's looking pretty good with a decent amount of room to go to the upside. What could possibly be fueling Link's run? How big of a run is this? Damn, that's a 30% run. That's not today. Let me stop. Let me chill. I was about to get excited. 2 days ago? 3 days ago? Nope. A day ago. 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah, it will be 3 days. Wait a minute. What is this? We got a little crossy cross. What is that? That's a 9-day. Crossing over the 200 day. Okay, it's not really like a golden cross or anything like that. Yeah, Link's trying to get big, man. 30% in 3 days. That's almost, what, 10% a day if you average it out? I wonder if there's, I don't know this, but I wonder if there's going to be speculation that Link is going to be added to the strategic crypto reserve. That would be wild. That would be absolutely wild. I like the chance if Link pops above here, it's probably going to try to target, 19.4 next. Trying to get back to 20. Speaking of 20s, let's take a look at AVAX. AVAX running back to 22. I like it. It's got to get just back above 24 cents, though. It says nothing. I was chilling with Sleeps, learning some LP moves. Yeah, that's going to be, I got to study that. I got to find out where he was at in that little portal. That's why I was asking the chat, like, hey, like where y'all at with that? Actually tell me how can I find that? I need to dedicate some time over the weekend and just try to learn that. Beautiful head and shoulders chart pattern that was charted here back in December, obviously played out phenomenally. That's why we pay attention to the daily. If it shows up on the daily, it's got a higher propensity to actually play out. like what AVAX is trying to do, trying to get back above to bullish territory again. 25 is probably the number to go. On the 4 hour, yep, same distance, about 25. 25, 25, 25. So there's not really a whole lot that's going on right now, right? Everything's just kind of in a holding pattern. Waiting for Friday, waiting for next week. Cardano kind of going through a small miniature pullback. Personally, I'd like to see Cardano come down and fill this gap here. You've got a 4 hour. In order to get that happen, we got to ask ourselves, what would be the catalyst to bring price for Cardano down? Bad CPI print, you know, lackluster event on Friday, any number of things. It's kind of hang out neutral territory, though. How's it doing respecting key levels? Pretty good. Not bad. Right, came down here to 81 cents, found a lot of support. How far does this 81 cent range go? Actually, 81 might have been a recent. Yeah, going back to November of 2024. That 84 cent range is kind of like a stepping stool, a building block, if you will, for Cardano. So when price started to come back down, that's where it ran to. Found a lot of support there. It just kind of pushed off of it. Of course, this is on the heels. I think this was the information where Trump was like, hey, crypto reserve. Yep, Sunday, March 2nd, for sure. Take some of this out. Do that. So back down here to the 4 hour. I kind of want to trade. I want to see if there's an opportunity here. How are we looking at hour? Rejection. Got some consolidation setting in. Volumes tapering off. Go. I do not like trading symmetrical triangles because it's a 50-50. It might as well be a damn jump ball toss, and that's exactly what we got going on here. I don't like it. Yep, it's consolidating. We got a little bit of a rally. We're basing. We can have a rally-based rally where we push up, a rally-based drop where we come back down, test this FEG here. If it respects it, again, we'll come back to that 84, 85 cent mark, maybe push off. If it invalidates it, to the downside we'll go. This might be one that just needs to breathe. Definitely don't want to get into the habit of trying to force trades. Those things never end up well. Let's take a look at XRP. Is there a trade to take on XRP? Before we do that, let's take a look at Crow. So people were speculating that DOT might get added as well. Just not seeing it for DOT, man. This chart, a lot of these charts just look bad. One of the reasons Bitcoin started to pump today because the DXY went through a little bit of a dip. Where we at on the DXY? What's my 20? Oh, we at 20. And we put in a pretty decent amount of extension from price and a moving average. What do we got here? Start 200. Oh, we lost to 200. Uh-oh. Really? The DXY lost to 200? Well, that's a new piece of information. Damn, son. The DXY, this is $1, just lost to 200, and that happened today, yesterday. Yeah. Price comes down, leg goes up, doesn't take out the former high. Low gets targeted. Maybe 103. You know, the crazy part about it is, if I'm just being completely honest, there's a lot of imbalance in this region here. It'd be crazy if the DXY came back down to 100. Man, that would pump crypto pretty nicely. How many more trading days do we have left in this week? Friday, Thursday, Friday, that's 2. It's 5, 6, 7. Can see some interesting things here. How are we looking at this 4 hour? These are strong candles here. I mean, we had a little bit of a doji show up here. While dojis never really mean reversals, they can represent a little bit of imbalance, but this doji was followed by a pretty decent sell candle. This doji was followed by a pretty decent sell candle. Bullish tried to step in the last minute buy the DXY up. Was this around closing? Okay. Will be 4 o'clock in military time. If 3 is 15, 4 will be 16. So is this right here. Tiny little buy candle. So all this is like what, after hours? Haynes, the DXY losing to 200 is terrible. I mean, it's great for crypto. Don't get me wrong. That's great for us. I'm actually just happy I looked at that. That could actually provide a decent amount of insight for, you know, the next short-term duration. So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of looking to see how the DXY is performing on the hour. What I want to make sure we don't have happen is to start to build support, because obviously it could be trying to prepare for a rally up, and obviously that would be bad for crypto. In doing so, I'm analyzing the candles to see how they shape up. Definitely gonna have to pay attention to the DXY here. I'm gonna put that one on a watch list for tomorrow. It gives me concern for here. Is this a bullish hammer? Yeah, it's a bullish pin bar. Started having a decent sell off. When was this? 19? What's 1900 hours military time? If 4 is 16, that would be 7. 7 p.m. 7 p.m. the bulls stepped in. They started buying this up. We'll have to wait and see how this opens. And we'll see what it does tomorrow. Because the farther and farther price gets away from this moving average, the more it's going to want to act like a magnet to try to pull it up unless an extreme dump happens. But the fact that we've got a bullish hammer here happening on the 4 hour. That could be trying to trigger a little bit of a reversal pattern. How do we do on the daily? It's kind of printing the same thing, but this one won't be done until for another 19 hours. Yeah. Gonna have to pay attention to that. This could be more the composite man just kind of playing games with retail. Hey, let me bring in a giant, dump. 4 hour time frame, still to be respected. You got a bullish hammer, bullish pin bar, whatever you want to call it. Show up at the bottom here. Shortly after a doji candle has popped up. Could we try to build some momentum to the upside? Maybe. Ideally, I think we should be on the lookout for is to see if one of these numbers happens. Right, so we have price come down. Try to rebound. We're down here now. Try to see if we get a nice, if price comes back to that 200. Now, depending on what price does when it gets to the 200, I think it's going to tell you everything you need to know. If it gets above and starts maybe closing some candles above the 4 hour, okay, it's probably going to try to mount a comeback. Daily close above the 200-day moving average could be bad for crypto. A rejection on the 4 hour or the daily, right? So a series of rejections on the 4 hour from the 200, obviously bullish for crypto. A rejection on the daily from the 200. Very, very bad for the DXY. Very, very good for crypto. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see. Name of the indicator on the right side is a volume profile. It just shows you where potential buys and sells are taking place for the time period that you're looking at. So if I zoom out, I don't have it on this one, but if I zoom out, it would change. If I zoomed in, it would change. Man, glad I actually took a look at the DXY. That is something. Can we get a look at the VIX? All right, so the VIX is actually coming down. What does that mean? I know normally when the VIX goes up, that's bad for markets. So the VIX coming down could be good for the markets. That might be falling in cohesion with this little guy right here. Just keep your eye to the DXY 200. Check to see if it actually gets a bounce off the 2 or if it gets rejected off the 200. How's ETH looking? Damn, ETH lost a 200 day too. Ooh, well, that explains ETH's performance. I'm just not a fan of the price action. If anything, I'd even be willing to bet this is probably going to start to slide. Rejections, getting farther rejected. How we look over here? Resistance. Let's come back here. This is probably going to be resistance. Where's my liquidity? Here. That's a little over 50% on this. Should we short it to 21.77 or thereabout? What do y'all think? Got a gap here that filled. Have any displacement? What about a supply zone? Let's take that could be a supply zone. It's interesting that there's a green line there right here, which means this tells me back when I was charting Ethereum heavy, I put this in here for some reason. I wonder if that acts as a magnet for price to come into this supply zone before it pushes down. But then again, this is on the 1 hour. Let's go to the 4 hour, see what we got. Kind of the same situation. Price is going up, volume is tapering off. $21.7. There's a tricky one. Tricky. Support. I'm sorry, resistance. Nope, this was support, bounced off. This was support, pushed up, went down. Resistance. Support here. I'm gonna wait for a confirmation on that. I want to take a short, but at the same time, I'm also looking at why this zone is here the way it is here on the hourly, and if in fact that could act as a supply zone. Because if it acts as a supply zone, let me see. I'm gonna go short. This price will come in here. All right, maybe do something like this. Maybe place your stop loss there. Target 21.6. That's a 6. It's not bad. That's actually really good. If you did this one though, we should go top here. this was a 6-2. Let me see something. Yeah, it could be on the way down. Could be on the way down. Do I jump in now or do I wait? Give me the case for it going down. Oh, that's invalidating. Can't do that. Ascending channel. It's going up. Volume's tapering off. Again, you're on the hourly. Go to the 4 hour. Price is going up. Volume's tapering off. Still ascending channel. I might see a need for a dual entry if I'm being honest. I'll wait to see what the RSI does here. If this RSI curls underneath this dotted line, that's probably more of a legitimate reason to go short. We'll wait. I'm gonna save this. I'll wake up tomorrow and definitely hit my targets on it. I'll be like, fuck, I should have took it. Any catalyst for it going up? Not seeing it on this chart. What my Bollinger Bands looking like. They are getting ready to curl up. Not there yet. It's funny. Got a little bit of confluence there, so I put that to target those lows, and apparently they have some liquidity resting there. If I go back down here to this hourly, I think, yep, that's where it told me where liquidity was hanging out at. Got a little bit of confluence. Maybe a low leverage short to the downside on Ethereum. Actually, let's do it. Why not? What's it gonna hurt? Scare money don't make money. Yeah, I was on Crypto Glenn's live. He took a short and got wrecked. I certainly hope that's not the case. She's on. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Of course, as I start going in, it starts retracing. Son of a bitch. No. Hey, man, dims the brakes. Dims the brakes. So I need to be what? Here? Where we at? We need to be there. You gonna set it at the bottom though? Probably best not be greedy. Move that up a little bit. Let's go there. Green line's the TP. How much am I risking on that? 10%. That's probably good. If it goes 10, it'll probably go 20. But it'd be a bad idea to manage the risk. All right, stop loss up there. Here we go. We gonna let that ride. All right, that's the target. That is the target. Is there any other charts y'all want me to look at before I get off this thing? Let me know. It's been a fun stream on YouTube. Like I said, definitely got to do a better job of letting the folks know this is where we're gonna be at for the duration. But it's not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. ETH, if you don't stop playing with me and just move to the downside, man. Thank you. I need you to go down here. Don't go up here. Go down here. So you got to talk to your trades. Start going, nope, go down here. Not up here, down here. Traders, man, we're crazy like that. We're crazy like that. The second it starts to go back up, we're like, mother. H-bar? Yeah, we'll take a look at H-bar. Save that real quick. HBZ. Oh, what in the... Let me zoom out here before I start freaking out. I don't like that. Go time frame. Yeah, same situation. I wanted to try to go back bullish, started getting pushed down. Bulls lost momentum, bears started coming in. Get rid of that. This is all you got to overtake right here, 26.6. 26.6. I'm looking at 4 hours. Is there a trade set up on the 4? Nope. Consolidation. Straight consolidation. Choppy. Chop, 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 chop. I'm doing the 1 hour. Was this a 1 hour? Why do I have this here? That's not supposed to be there. 30 minute? I never chart on the 30 minute. 15. No. I must have been marking out a zone. Okay. Get rid of that. Very choppy on the 4 hour. There's not really a whole lot going on with the H bar. Not a ton going on with H bar. Just kind of consolidating. Still haven't cracked, you know, broken structure here, which means technically it's still in a bearish stage. Maybe getting ready to slide underneath this trend line here, which would make sense. I mean, just on the 4 hour alone, it's in an ascending channel. If I just finish that. Maybe ascending broadening wedge. These act just like channels. They break to the downside. The fact that we're getting rejected here on the 4 hour, which tells me if I zoom down here and niche down to the 1 hour, it's probably even more rejection at this zone. It is. There's no supply zones in the area. It's not anything you got to worry about. If in fact this holds true, you know, this price is going up, volume was tapering down. It's not going to be a huge move, right? But I might be looking at 23. I don't think this is going to come all the way down here to 22. Probably mindful. Watch the 50% move on this. It's definitely hit a full retracement. Came back below the 236. Obviously, boom, came down to the 50%. If it falls out again, maybe it sets the 50. If you lose 50, golden retracement is on the 23, which would be 50% of this this channel or the wedge. So if you wanted to do a short, I'll probably wait to see if this breaks beneath the trend line to see if you get an attenuation candle or a retest and get pushed back down. I just think it's too tight of a zone. Personally, I like to take anything that's going to be a 2-to-1 trade ratio. And I don't think we're going to get that here yet. No, this is 1.3. Nah. And that stop loss would be too tight. Yeah, trade's not there. Not for me anyway. If someone wants to be a little bit more riskier, they're more welcome to take it. Let's check back in our ETH trade. ETH Boogie, what are you doing? You're doing the exact opposite of what I needed you to do. You here, I need you to be here. Go back down. Keep going. Yeah, so that's at least how H-bar looks for the time being. Like I said, I think a lot of these are just going to wait until Friday. I really do. I think a lot of these are going to be waiting until Friday. Let's go higher time frame. Are we looking at weekly? Same situation. What about daily candle? How do we do on the dailies? We closed here. Here, yep. You know what I'm not seeing in these markets, which will always give like really, really great insight, is strong, solid candles like this one here. Like these two, these are fine. But this is, you know, if I'm being honest, this is a bearish engulfing candle. So the fact that price is even trying to, I mean, volume's got to be tapering off, right? That's got to be fake, right? There's got to be a setup. Turn my stuff back on. Yeah, see? Bearish engulfing candle, day one. What is this? Tuesday. Today. Volume's tapering down. This got to be getting ready to break to the downside. That's a bearish engulfing candle. Keep an eye on that one. Maybe if the DXY mounts a little bit of a comeback, right? All coins start to suffer. This falls out, breaks down to those zones that we were talking about. How do I know it's a bearish engulfing candle? You zoom in. If this up here, right, it's taller than the high, and obviously it's taller than the low, and it just engulfs the entire previous candle before it. But I have heard that they say if they take out the lows, then it's trying to mount a comeback, and that's what happened. Candle came, took out the lows, we mounted a little bit of a rally. But I don't think this rally is going to suffice. I don't think it's going to sustain. Right? So you're going up. Doji, 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 doji. A lot of indecision. Doji's indecision plus volume is tapering down. Go ahead and come down here to the downside for me. Come on. Go ahead and come on to this downside for me. Of course, this is going to close in 3 hours and 17 minutes. Matter of fact, let me look at that ETH trade again. ETH, you on that bullshit? Come down, bro. Give me the daily. How we looking? What is this? Oh, that's that. Okay. So with this candle came in, it took out the high. This has got to be getting ready to get pushed down. What was that saying? If new candle daily forms takes out the highs, getting ready to move down. If it takes out the lows, getting ready to take a move out or move up. So what's gonna happen? We got to come back down here and test the daily highs. Y'all see that? ETH on that bullshit. Let's stomp him out. Let's stomp him out. If it happens, it happens. I'll just reassess on the close. We're doing an hourly. I'm smart. Shorten that resistance. Oh, it's gonna try and do it. You better not. Go down. I'm your master. I own you. Go down. I'm just looking at this trade like maybe I should have placed my entry where I got that stop loss. Cause this candle might be on some bullshit. Come on. Come back down here to this green zone so I can move my stop loss and profit and protect my wins, my gains. I gotta be honest, I do like that H-bar setup though. I do. Have to wait and see how that one plays out. All right. I think that's pretty much it. We're going to wake up, reevaluate this thing around lunchtime tomorrow, see where we're at. So if y'all are going to be around for lunch, I encourage you, join me. Join me. You got questions about charts, things you want to know more about, I'm here for you. Questions in between then. In the meantime, you can always hit me up on Twitter. I'm here. Or on the tiki-taki. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I want to say thank you to each and every one of y'all for coming to hang out. It means the world to me. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here with me, and I appreciate it. Drop a bomb in the chat for y'all one time. Without y'all, none of this is possible. Greatly, greatly appreciate it, man. You guys are amazing. DJ, man, play my outro. Y'all be easy. I'll see y'all in the next one. Emiliana.
Hey, Joe, come on. We're going to be late for the Crypto Blend live stream. Call Barack and Michelle, see if they're going to tune in and watch. We can see him chart Doggy Moo coin.
This is the best president of the United States, Donald Trump, and when I'm not putting high tariffs into place, I'm watching Crypto Glenn. Only Dicky Duck.
We are late. The Crypto Glenn live stream has started without us. You fail me yet again, Starscream.
Jeez, I'm excited by this.
You're watching the Crypto Glenn nightly stream. Real Alpha, Blend, can you chart Doggy Moo coin for me?
I'm too old for this shit. You know what time it is when you hear this, right?